complain. We have been fed, guys. We can only take a step ourselves and find ways of making everything that has been shared a reality. And imnanzi imali act. As in Ccifsa, it's the money there is nice. I just had to put it like that because I know it's very nice, and it does not have a lot of things, because we sit here and we're waiting for government funding. Now that you have to report, there's a lot of paperwork that you have to do. You need to verify this. Hey, Arts and Culture Trust, you get the funding. You bring back just a small thing, your report and this and that. And then you're done. You don't, not a lot of things, guys. So these opportunities are there. And these monies are very nice. And they come out. And they are for us. If you navigate the internet and don't watch YouTube, you will see the money is there. And knowing all these platforms, connect them at Market Theatre, Acetage, all these platforms, become friends of these platforms. There's a lot that is there. Some of the things, it becomes too much, you'll end up saying, I don't want this one, I'd rather take this one, I'd rather take this one. There's a lot out there for us. Ne? I think that's the gist of it, to give us as much positivity and much information as we can, because there's also a lot that we are going through, and we just need to lighten up. We're going to go into the next session of the day, where we're going to go to the next session of the day, which is a Q&A. We're just going to give it 10 minutes, and it's for you guys to go in through your notes and just have questions for our panel. If you have any questions, if you have any reflections, if you want any information, I think this is the time for you guys to do so. So yes, the mic is there on the floor. We can start having those questions.
Sanbonani. Good day, guys. My name is Kumbuzo Mukoina, coming from Ccifsa. I'm the Deputy Chairperson of Gravetown Arts Foundation. I just have one question for the Arts Trust. Do you guys maybe fund capacitation workshops where you find that maybe the Arts Foundation wants to have capacitation workshops so you can teach more skills to the others so they can sustain themselves? Does your department handle that?
Thanks. In short, no, not at this time. The programs are quite specific with our strategy, but that also is not necessarily a no, because we have many partners in the sector that might be able to lean in and offer assistance or offer information. I think also we've kind of broken away from the word funding, just because of the connotations that it has. And on that note, I just want to say, when you approach an organization, just in general, as a general note, and I try and always do this where I go, before you ask for something, or before you, sometimes the tension is high, especially on Facebook, make sure you know who you're approaching and what they offer, just as a general note. And I use the example, you don't go into McDonald's and ask for a Steers burger, and if they don't give you a Steers burger, you shout at them, and then, So I think that's an important note, just for everyone in general. It's on us to research our organization, it's on us to research our audience, our stakeholders, to know exactly where the different opportunities lie. I think capacity is a big thing. I know NAC funds capacity, it's specifically part of their mandate. So I think check out for the opportunities from them for that. And then I think be very specific about what you mean by capacity. What is the outcomes that you are looking for? So yeah, I mean, I would love to give everyone money, but especially when it comes to capacity. But it's exactly that. We all have our particular focus areas. So make sure that you research and see who is specifically catering to that. Thank you.
We are going to take a round of questions, which is 4 questions, and we'll allow the panel to answer. So after, whosoever has a question is going to ask, and then we'll allow the panel to answer.
Hi, my name is Tremaine. So I would love to, I would love to ask a question for the trust. Usually, in terms of now focus areas and stuff, right? So usually I do lighting and stuff like that. So do you have programs for such fields, for people who want to do lighting, sound, and backstage type of work? Yeah, thank you.
Do we have another question at the back? Do we have a question? Can we see by the raise of hands? Okay.
Sanbonani, Dumela, some of the diverse person people here. All right, good day or good evening or good morning. Yes, my name is Mzaki Giano from Davidson Art Forum. I've just heard doctor, they're talking about the policies. Well, I understand that I was just expecting to hear more. When you talk about the police here, there's something that we are missing. We are just South African at the end of the day. We are citizens of South Africa. And there is the police that govern the country with the unity in our diversity. So I was just waiting to hear when you talk about the cultural policies, because I deal with those things most of the time. That cultural and art and so on involve the unity in our diversity. Because that is the only policy that governs this country. That's number one. And number two, I just hear people, they are talking about trust and funding and so on. I understand those things. They are the one that make people not to grow. As Thomas Sankara once said, the one who feeds you is the one who controls you. But what I'm waiting to hear right now is that there's any employment, empowerment, economic empowerment for the disadvantaged communities. Since we are coming from the RDP and the squatter camps background, there's any empowerment for that, not the funding, not the granting aid, but just an empowerment. Because presently, here in South Africa, there is a black economic empowerment. Thank you.
Can we take one last question? So can I see the other hands so that we see for the next round of questions, which probably will be the last round? 2, 3. Do we have another hand this side? So it's going to be 1, 2, and 3. Okay, can we have that question and then we'll give it to the panel.
Okay, Sanbonani, well, I come from a group called the 1575 Drummers. We teach kids how to play music. So I have a question for Miss Asitej. Can I call you that name? Okay. Asitej, okay. So my question is, I teach kids now how to play music. Man. So what is it that you are looking for from us so that we can be helped by your organization?
Thank you very much. I'll give it to the panelists.
Thank you for that question about cultural policies. I was saying to Tsebile, we need another session, and this time a session where we can have a conversation, proper conversation. So to the point, and one of the points which I have, which I did not get to, because sometimes I get sidetracked, is the question of policy. When we teach cultural policy, we don't talk about one policy. And the policy, for starters, the agriculture and heritage policy in South Africa is a two-in-one type of policy. hence emphasis sometimes on issues of diversity and nation building, social cohesion, and so on and so forth. Which sometimes we say, what is this about? We want to hear how the policy promotes the art. So it's integrated in a way that cannot be separated, because expressions, when we express ourselves, we're expressing ourselves about things which concern us in our society, which are issues of our diversity and many other issues. The poet says issues of substance abuse, issues of different types of abuse. But not only do we talk about we have a three-in-one policy. And one of the points that thank you for asking and getting an opportunity to clarify this for some of you which I couldn't. Cultural policy, the 1996 white paper was a white paper, is in some cases, in fact in many countries, it's called an ineffective policy. And it's called an exclusive cultural policy. Cultural policy, now headed by Minister Gordon, is not an effective cultural policy. They are what are called implicit cultural policies. Implicit cultural policies are the education policies, the migration policy, the home affairs policy, because the cultural aspect of our life is shaped more in those policies, those things. So if we put emphasis only in 1996 or the revised white paper, and forget what the health policy says, what the social development policy says, then we are missing out on these opportunities. So perhaps two words for which I want to plan today. Explicit cultural policy, which is not very effective, but implicit cultural policy, which shape most of the things we do in our day-to-day life. When you look at some of our legends, the father of theater, of an African theater, Mr. Johnson, was a social worker by profession. He lived there, he brought this understanding of the social dynamics in South Africa. That's why his theater was very relevant during his time. And at any given time, Mr. Johnson would fill up places like this. Overskilled and so on and so on. And he was one theater practitioner who had a lifestyle which even the movie makers or the film stars don't have. Mr. Johnson was a successful theater maker. So anyway, cultural policies, implicit and explicit, and our life is shaped elsewhere, not in the Department of Art and Culture. Thank you.
Also, just to assist you answer Mr. Gentleman, I think this is the moment. So last year, we are from 2021, we embarked on a program where we were training core facilitators. Most of those core facilitators, they are part of the Presidential Employment Stimulus Program that we are currently doing in the city. So what we are planning to do is that the very same core facilitators, they will now go to your communities after they get the second training so that they can be able to assist you to unpack what Prof was saying. And also we are planning a series of workshops starting from, is it February or January? From February, where we will be calling the artists of Ekurhuleni, and we'll invite people like Prof so that they can come and unpack, because today he was just giving us an overview. So we will continue having this conversation. And also last week we had a meeting with Annabelle Libete, who is the new CEO of Sambro. They are working on their documents so that they can be easily accessible even to someone who is who doesn't have a university education or high school education, meaning that they will also translate them into different languages so that you can understand. So all of that will pack it together as a package and take it to our 3 regions in Ekurhuleni, and also the series of workshops that Ccifsa is busy planning. Thank you.
So I'm just going to offer my 2 cents on the policy question quickly, and then I'll come to the membership and the drama. So particularly around education policy, I spoke about ACITEJ training and working with facilitators that we then connect to schools. The Education CAPS curriculum, which stands for Curriculum Assessment Policy Statement, are available on the Basic Department of Education's website. So policy shouldn't be a mystery to South African citizens. It's meant to be put in a public place so you can see it, you have access to it, and all you have to do to understand what those policy documents are is go to the relevant website. So for us, it's the Education Department. The CAPS curriculum is all there. And what we do as part of some of the projects we run where we're placing artists in schools is we train thoroughly in those CAPS, those policy statements. So we break it down, we say, what does this mean? How do you apply this? What does this mean practically? And that's how we also work with unpacking those statements, those policy documents with teachers. So that's how ACITEJ looks at policy and the practical implementation of it. To come back to the question over here, for what does ACITEJ want from you, join us. So we want to know who you are, the work you're doing, where you are, because we also like to map where people are doing work. And then please join us, because once you become a member of ACITEJ, you have access to the programs we are running, you get monthly newsletters which talk about not only the theatre that is happening across South Africa, not just in Gauteng, but also its opportunities. So our newsletter has local opportunities and then international opportunities, but you have to be a member. So it's again, you taking the agency to apply, to say I want to, and then the exchange, you will then get the information that we can share with you about what we are doing.
Let me just start with the backstage and tech question. That's not particularly in our mandate in terms of education and entrepreneurship, but I do know that our national theatres, state theatre, there are often calls out for training programs for technicians. And I know it feels like an overlooked part of the sector. We know it's not. Anyone that's on stage knows how important the people behind the scenes are. What we do, however, offer is that we really try to democratize the way that we present professional opportunities. So when we have our scholarship program Gala Showcase, we have an open call for technicians. So we keep it transparent and clear. We try and pull in new talent where we can. So in that way we play, but not specifically in the technical training aspect of it, just in short. And then I just wanted to say, I think sometimes organizations can feel inaccessible to people, especially if we start talking academics or we start talking formal businesses. What we've done at the Trust is we know that not everyone can get onto a program. We're obviously also restricted by finance in terms of how many men or how many participants we can bring onto a program and capacity, so that's a big thing. What we do have on our website is a page, a resources page called the Aklolo resources page. And it takes you through basic entrepreneurial skills and in different South African languages, because we haven't really addressed the language issue when it comes to policy and trying to understand this policy that's written in English. Like, I think that's also a lot of where the misinterpretation or the application falls apart. So on the Klolo page, we actually have a 6-episode animation series. So if you are a budding arts entrepreneur, but you're not quite sure where to start or how to start, the video series takes you through a bunch of scenarios. It's in Afrikaans, English, Zulu, and is it Sotho, Setswana, Ketu? Setswana. And we are now releasing the episodes in comic strips as well, and that will be in all 11 South African languages, not sign language, obviously. So I think make use of those resources. There's resources on that page that also teaches you how to make films with your phone. and how to edit and what the free applications are. So if you can't get onto a course, there's still a page available with practical tools and resources that you can get self-going. You know, while you're applying or while you're in the interim, start activating yourself. Templates that you can draw on, and they're really, really wonderful resources that we actually got from artists who are solving their own problems. We didn't just make it up and said, hey, this is what we think you should be doing. We asked artists, and we looked at artists that are surviving in their communities and thriving in their communities, and we put that together in that animated series. So I think just accessing that as well. Have a look at the resources that are free and available.
I think we have got 2 last questions. On stage and give us a background of Ccifsa. So can we have these 3 questions? Oh, there's 3 questions. There's 1, 2. Who is the third one? Where is the third question? Oh, he spoke. 1, 2.
Hi guys, thank you so much for being here. A very big thing that I appreciate from you guys as the panelists that are here is you're at the forefront of being the realizing of some of the decisions and policies that are put in place. But to take a step back before we get to understanding the misinterpretations that also exist within policy making and reading and all of the implementation, I think it's also important for us to understand the agendas behind certain policies, because then that also gives an insight of what does this serve or what does this not serve. So with your insights and having sat in so many crucial points around policy, can you please maybe give some of an understanding of what are some of the agendas behind the inefficiencies that currently exist in the policies you've been exposed to? That one way someone may be like, this is meant to benefit people in this sense, but that efficiency may be an inefficiency from someone who also currently exists within the same ecosystem. I mean, the efficiency of having DVDs brought up an inefficiencies for the VHC people, because that meant goodbye to that business. So when the negatives exist, what do they serve? Who do they serve? And why are they still kept there? So I guess that, for me personally, it helps to inform, okay, now how do we circumnavigate this that we currently exist in? Because by understanding agenda, you can now understand, oh, okay, we move this way because we're trying to do it this way, but we stopped here because this is meant to benefit this that might not necessarily benefit you, but the way forward is blah, 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 blah. I hope you understand the question. Thank you so much.
Next question.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Lily from LISEC Talent and Skills Management. My question is based to Alison. Alison, I had a question, but now at least you've answered it. I just wanted to know, because you said you place facilitators to schools to teach young kids, and together with the art teacher. So now I've been answered, because I wanted to know that any artist can go and teach there, but you said those who have been trained by you. Is that what you said? Okay, okay. If that is the case, do you have an age restriction to those facilitators? Because that age restriction, it kills us, because we are eager to work. But most of the time, 18 to 35, son, most of the time, that is the thing that kills us. And we are eager, we are still, as long as God has given us power and strength to work, we are eager to work. If possible, that age restriction can change a little bit, although we will work with the youth. Thank you.
Okay. Quickly, sorry, let's say 2 minutes. I want to begin by clarifying the use of the word agenda. Agenda is good when we put it here and say our agenda for the day is this. But when it's used, when you ask me what's your agenda, I will never tell you. I will never tell you why, because the second agenda, which you asked about, is unethical interests, or rather interests which we cannot reveal, but we will push structure policies in ways that will help us to achieve our devious agendas. I'll give you an example of politicians. Sorry if there are politicians in the house. Politicians are not interested in our welfare. Politicians are interested in their power. Wherever you go in the world, they are interested in their power. So one of the things which we do when we are faced with a policy scenario, we say, this is the policy. And if we do our analysis, sometimes the intentions, I will not say my intention as an academic, but if you look closely at what I want to do, maybe I want to publish many articles so that I become a professor. But I'll never come to you and say, my agenda here is to publish many articles. Politicians will never tell you that they want power and to be voted back into power. But if we understand what their agenda is, which we can do by reading the things which they do, if we understand that that's what they are looking for, then in managing them, we know where to put them. There are various ways of managing people's interest and agenda and hidden agendas. And as an organization, you put your stakeholders, you map them, and in doing your stakeholder analysis, we are asking, what is the interest of the stakeholder and what power do they have? And once we understand the power and interest, our role is to manage the power and interest, and we can manage that easily. I want to end up by saying 2 minutes. We have programs in cultural policy and management. We are working towards coming up with short courses. But apart from that, we have courses which you can enroll for as an arts vocational. So this is where you come in as an experienced artist. You do one course at honors level, and if you're impressive and if you give us 65%, then we give you an opportunity to register for your honors. Okay. We have RPL conditions, and we have seen many RPL students excelling, some of them even going up to PhD. But I hope I've answered you about agendas. No one will tell you about their hidden agenda, but we can read and understand and work on that. Thank you.
So thank you for the question. The answer is no, Assetage will not discriminate based on age. But I do want to be clear about that, particularly for the programs where we have funding and support, it often is a process. So you will have to apply for a program. If you are then accepted, there is a period of training. And after that period of training, our team will assess and will decide, do we feel that this person is a right fit for the program? And whether or not you are a right fit depends on a lot of things. It could be the scope of the program, it could be how many facilitators we could employ, it could be, some people come in and they say, actually, I don't want to work with young people. This is not, I'm an actor, I don't want to be engaging in facilitation and after-school programs. So I do want to make it clear that there's a process that you can apply for, but you may not always be selected finally. But what we do allow, obviously, is if you've been part of the process and you have those skills, there's nothing to stop you from then using those skills in your environment. So it is a capacity building, but it's not to say that you will then be selected to go forward with the program.
And it's not a scary selection. It's once you're an artist, definitely. It's not a very scary process. I don't know if Jess, would you like to say something based on the two questions, and somehow it's something that's just gonna wrap up everything that has been said today.
Just in short, I think an overarching theme is educate yourself in your sector, whether that is the policy or the organizations providing opportunities. Make sure you do your homework, make sure you do your research. And just in general, sometimes people, and I'm just giving it to from the other side because I've been on both sides. I've been the applicant, I've been the person that facilitates the process to say yes. Most organizations, not necessarily us at Tej, because I think your membership's open all year, you can apply at any point. Make sure you have your